Welcome to Problem Solving Through Programming. So today we'll discuss about the history and evolution of C and what is a why we need to study C and some syntax or characteristics, disadvantage, advantage, structure of your C program and so on. Okay. So first, what is the need of C? Why we have to study the C programming language? So C programming language. So low-level programming becomes especially important in the Internet of Things and wearable devices, where efficiency in power consumption is actually most important consideration. And secondly, all of the high-level languages are built with the help of your low-level languages. You will need to know low-level language to sustain in developing those high-level language. Okay, so that is why we are studying the C programming. And also, while there is a big push to be able to use your high level language and to be able to write your low level things like drivers for graphic cards, so low level languages are still needed to perform those things. For example, everything related to encoding and decoding and encryption will probably use all low level language only, right? Probably some assembly to use extend instruction. Basically, everything that needs high performance and fine tuning will require a bit of low level programming. Okay, so we'll see what is the history and evolution of C. So C is a general purpose language. So C is a general purpose language and it is developed by Dennis Ritchie in 1972 at Bell Laboratories. And the principles are taken from BCPL and CPL. Okay, so it is a structured programming language. So this is more important. The C is a structured programming language. So C program has a collection of function which is supported by C library. Okay. So in 1960, it was. I'll show you that evolution. Yeah. So in 1960, we had that ALGOL, which was developed by International Group, and 1967, it was BCPL by Martin Richard, and in 70s, it was called as B language, was developed by Ken Thomas, and 72 was a traditional C. It was developed by Dennis Ritchie. Then we had KNRC, then ANSI, then ANSI, also C99, so on. The standard has been improved. So Dennis Ritchie, he is the father of C programming. Okay, so he was born on September 9, 1941. So let us see what are the features of C language, or why the name C was given. So many of the C principles and ideas were derived from earlier language, which is called as your B language. You can see here before C it is a B language, right? So many principles of C has been derived from the earlier B language, and your BCPL and CPL are either earlier ancestor of B languages, BCPL and CPL, that is a common programming language. So these are the ancestor of your B language. So right, so as many features are derived from that B language, the new language was termed as C language. Excuse me. Okay, so coming to the features of C language, it is a very simple language and it is machine independent. So it is a mid-level programming language, and it is very important thing is it is a structured programming language which is having a very rich library and supporting the memory management, speed. We use concept of pointer, recursion, and it is also extensible. Okay, so it is supporting the low level language, and it is a structured program and efficient use of pointers there, and it is also extensible, and your program is portable. Okay, it is program portable, right? And it is having a memory management. So what is the advantage? So advantage of C, it is a compiler based language, and the programming is easy and fast. It is powerful and efficient. As I said you, as a program is portable, it supports graphic, supports large number of operator used to implement data structure. So these are all the advantage of C. So what are the disadvantage of C? C programming language does not support your OOPS concept, object oriented programming. So it doesn't support your OOPS concept, okay, object oriented programming. And it is not strongly typed language, and use of same operator for multiple purpose, so that is one of the disadvantage. Okay, and your C does not perform runtime checking. Okay, so it does not perform, so it does not perform a runtime checking. Runtime time checking. Okay, it only does the compile time checking. Okay, so it only does compile time type checking, right? So at runtime, C doesn't ensure whether the correct data type is used. Instead, it performs automatic type conversion, right? And one more disadvantage of C is it doesn't support the concept of exception handling. Okay, it does not support. Okay, it does not support the concept of exceptional handling. So that is the disadvantage of your C programming, right? So now we'll see the structure of programming, then we'll come to this variables and so on. So structure, okay, I'll tell you here. Right? So we have structure of C programming. First, we used to have a documentation section. Okay. First is we'll have a documentation section, and secondly we'll have preprocessor. And thirdly, we'll have a global declaration. So these are the structure. Any C program should have this format. Declaration. And then it should have a main program. Then it can have your user defined subprograms. Okay, so this is the structure of any C program. It should have the documentation section and a preprocessor section, and we should have a global declaration, then followed by the main program, and we can also have the subprograms. Okay, so I'll tell you how it is looking like, then we'll tell which is subsection and which is your documentation and so. Okay, so it will be like I'm just writing an example. Structure of C program include stdio.h. include conio.h void main, then we'll have an open brace and your program statement, and if we are using subsection we have to call that subsection, call user subprogram, close this, and then we should go for the subprogram. Then statement of this subprogram. Okay, so now could you tell which is which? Okay, so this one is your documentation line, documentation section, right? So it tells what is the program about, documentation section, and these two is your library, so it is your preprocessor section, preprocessor section, and then it should be a global declaration. If you have a global declaration, then we can do the global declaration, and then this is your main program. Okay, so main program, it is starting with the brace and ending with the flower base. So this part is your main program. Okay, so in main program we have used a subsection, we are calling the subsection. So this part is your user defined subsection. Okay, understood? Now we will discuss each section separately. So first is your documentation section. So documentation section is used to provide comments. Okay, comments treated as single white space by the compiler. Okay, your comments will be treated as single white space by the compiler. As a single white space by compiler. Okay, and this documentation section is ignored at the time of execution. So it is non-executable. Okay, and comments section or the comments, that is, it is used to provide comments, I said, right? So comments has a sequence of characters. It is having a sequence of characters between, which is given between this. So we'll write the comment here and we'll end it by this slash. Okay, for example, I can write the program name as a statement description. So I can write like program to find area of circle and end with the command line. So this is your command line. So this is about your documentation section. Okay, so documentation section is used to provide comments and it is treated as a single white space by the compiler and it is ignored during the time of execution. That is, it is not executable, and comment should be given between your slash star and slash star. Between these your comment should be given. Example like this. Okay, so this is called a single line comment. So that we will discuss later. And now we'll see what is your preprocessor section. Okay, preprocessor section. Okay, or preprocessor section is also called as preprocessor directive. processor directive. It is also called as header files. Okay, it is not a part of compiler. Okay, it has a separate step in compilation process. Okay, and this preprocessor, it always begins with this hash symbol, and it is written within this less than or greater than symbol. Okay, for example, it is written like, it is starting with the symbol hash, include stdio.h. So like this, it should be between these two. So it is a preprocessor directory, or it is a header file. Okay, so it is a preprocessor directive, and it is actually the header files. It is not a part of a compiler, and it starts with the symbol hash, and it is written in between preprocessor. It written between this greater than and less than symbol. Next is your global declaration section. So global declaration section, so it is used to declare the global variables. Okay, global declaration section is used to declare global variables, or we can even tell us public variables. Okay, and also this, where do we use this global declaration? It is outside the main function. Okay, so variable are declared outside of all function, and your variables can be accessed by all functions in the program, right? Because it is declared outside of all function, it can be accessed by any function. That is why it is called as global variable. Okay, and same variable used by more than one function. Okay, we can use same variable by more than one sections. Okay, so that is about your global declaration part. And next we'll see about the main section. So here main is written in small letter, small letter, no capital letter. Okay, and your execution starts with the open brace. Starts with open brace, as we saw here an example. Okay, it starts with a open brace. And it is divided into two sections. Divided into two section, namely a declaration and execution. So declaration, it declares the variable. Execution, the statements within the brace. Okay, and finally execution ends with the closing brace. Ends with closing brace. So it is starting with opening brace and it is ending with closing brace. And one more important thing, your main does not end with semicolon. Okay, so now we'll see local declaration. So global declaration means it will be declared outside the main program, right? So global declaration is outside the main program and it can be used by all the functions below. And your local declaration, it is the variable which is declared within the main program. Variables declared within the main program. Okay, and so this is called as local variables. And variables initialize with basic data types. Okay, so now do you understand why it is called as local variable? Because variables are declared within the main program, that is why it is local declaration, whereas the global declaration, variables will be declared outside the main program. Okay, so when we are doing this C programming, we should know some fundamentals like alphabets, words, sentence, paragraph. So these are all the steps in learning your English language. Likewise, so steps in learning C language is alphabets, digits, special symbols, constants, variables, symbols, what are statements, then instructions, then program. So what are the fundamentals of your C programming fundamentals? So we need to know what is alphabet, digits, special symbols. So using this, then we can go for constant, what is variable, what is keyword, and then statement or instruction, then your program. So these are the fundamentals of your C programming. So when we say alphabets, it is A, B, etc., Y, Z, and small a, b, etc., Y, Z, and digits 0, 1, 2, 3 till 8, 9, and special symbol like at, hash, percentage, greater than, less than, close square bracket, flower bracket, plus, minus, equal to, question mark, all this thing. Okay, so now we'll see the tokens of your C programming. that is constant, variables, keywords. So these are all called as the tokens of your fundamental C programming. Okay, so tokens. So what are all these tokens for? So these are all the fundamental of your C programming. Okay, so we have keywords, identifiers, constant, string, special symbol, operators. Okay, so your C program is broken into many tokens. Okay, so these tokens are the building block of your C. So tokens are the building block of C program. Okay, because your C program is broken into many C tokens. Right. So we'll see some example for keywords and all those things. So example for keywords is like int, float, while, etc, etc. So if I see int, it is understood that it is using the variable type integer. If I see float, it is understood that it is using the variable type float. If I see while, it is understood we are using while loop. Okay, so identifiers are, so if I'm saying main, right, so that is main program you're writing, no, so that is one of the identifier. And we'll have get ch, get character, clear screen. So these are all the identifiers. And constant, you know, right, so the numbers 5, 10, -20, etc, etc. And strings, which is in quotes. Okay, America or cyber, anything like that. Okay, within the quotes it is called as a string. And special symbol, example your square bracket, flower bracket, parenthesis. So these are all the special symbols. Operators, plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus. So these are all your operators. Okay, so while telling about your documentation section, I said it is a command line, right? So we have two types of comments. So one is a single line comment and a multi-line comment. So we'll see what is your single line comment and multi-line comment. So single line comment and multi-line comment. Single line and multi-line comments. So single line and multi-line comments are used to provide information about the code. About line of code. So actually it provides clarity, right? Provide clarity to the C source code. Right? So it allows others to understand better what the code was intended to. Allows better understanding. About what the code is intended to. Okay, and it helps in debugging the code. So if you are writing some 200 300 line program, you should know which line is for what. Okay, so it helps in debugging the code. Okay, because the large project will contain hundreds and thousands of line of source code. So if you have this command line, it will be easily uh, understand which part we have to rectify by seeing that. And we have two types. One is your single line comment and multi-line comment. Okay, so single line comment is represented like slash star, and you'll write the statement here slash star, and double line comment is represented by this double slash, and we can write it here. Right. Next, what is keyword? Keyword, it conveys a special meaning to compiler. Convey special meaning to compiler. Meaning to compiler. And we have totally 32 keywords. And these keywords cannot be used as variable names. Cannot be used as variable name. Okay, so some of the example I will tell you for this: auto, break, double, else, float, continue, switch, void, go to, right, return, etc. So like this we have 32 keywords, and the main important thing is this keywords cannot be used as variable name. I cannot use double as a variable name. I cannot use float as a variable name. Okay. Next is constants. So constant definition, value does not change during execution. Value does not change during execution. So it can be a number or a letter. Okay, so generally this constant is classified like numeric constant and character constant. Okay, so numeric constant, again it is divided into integer constant and real constant. So integer constant example, 120 minus 123 0. So these are all integer constant. Real constant is like 0 0.0.83 0.95, and same way your character constant is also divided into two. So one is single character constant, another is string constant. So example, so it should be given in single quotes. Okay, 5. I said it can be either a constant can be either a number or a letter, right? So it should be given in quotes. If it is given in quotes, it means that it is a single character. So this 5 is now a character, right? And X, A, like that. String means it should be given in multiple quotes. Hello, or I can say 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus etc. So anything given in double quotes is your string, anything given in single quote is your character. Okay, so now we'll see what is a variable or an identifier. So these are all the tokens, right? The tokens are the building block of your C programming. Variables or identifiers. So identifiers for memory location where your data is stored. So variable is an identifier for a memory location where data is stored. So here this value changes. For constant, value doesn't change during execution. For variable, value changes during execution. Okay, and the rules for identifiers. We can have a combination of alphabets, digits, or underscore. Okay, the first character should be alphabet. Should be alphabet. So no special characters other than this underscore is used here, and no comma, space are allowed. Okay, within the variable name. We cannot use any other special characters other than this underscore, and we should not have comma, space, etc. within your variable name, and your variable name cannot be a keyword. And variable name is a case sensitive. Okay, so variable name cannot be that is the length cannot be more than 31 characters. So these are the variable or identifiers. So we'll stop with this. So the next class we'll discuss about variable declaration and variable initialization and all those things. Thank you.